The day had started peacefully. Hannah, a school librarian, was known for her gentle nature and soft-spoken words. She loved books, children, and quiet corners. To anyone passing by, she seemed like the type of woman who wouldn't hurt a fly. But fate has a way of putting people in situations that strip away the masks, revealing who they truly are. And on this particular afternoon, Hannah found herself facing a group of people who underestimated her in the worst way. It happened at the town's community park. Families had gathered, kids were playing, and food trucks lined the edges of the field. Hannah had come to volunteer at the book stall set up for children. She was stacking paperbacks when she noticed them, 4 men in their late 20s, loud, arrogant, and already causing trouble. They shoved past families, mocked teenagers, and even flipped over a trash can just to watch it spill. At first, people looked away. Nobody wanted to confront them. That's how it usually went in Brooksville. People avoided conflict, hoping the troublemakers would just get bored and leave. But Hannah couldn't. She saw them targeting a group of younger kids, throwing insults and laughing cruelly. One even snatched a boy's hat and dangled it high above his head. Something inside Hannah stirred. Memories she had tried to bury resurfaced, memories of another time, another place, when she had been too afraid to stand up for herself. Not today. She stepped forward. Enough, she said firmly. Leave them alone. The men turned, and then, laughter. Laughter that echoed across the park. One of them sneered. You? You're telling us what to do. Lady, you should stick to reading bedtime stories, another added, mocking her. Hannah's voice didn't waver. I won't say it again. Stop. Walk away. They laughed harder. People nearby shook their heads. Some whispered, poor woman. She doesn't know what she's gotten into. But Hannah wasn't joking. The tallest of the men stepped closer. He towered over her, smirking. Or what? You'll scold me with a book report? His friends roared with laughter. One clapped sarcastically, another pretended to cower in fear. Hannah's eyes narrowed. I warned you once. But they didn't listen. And 5 minutes later, everything changed. The men tried to push past her, aiming for the kids again. That's when Hannah moved. What no one in Brooksville knew was that before she became a librarian, Hannah had lived another life. She had served years as a Krav Maga instructor, training soldiers and police officers in self-defense. She had left that world behind after a personal tragedy, retreating into books for solace. But skills like that never leave you. When the first man reached for her, she sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and twisted. He yelped in pain as she flipped him to the ground with a thud that silenced the entire park. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The second man lunged, furious. Hannah ducked low, driving her elbow into his ribs, then swept his legs out from under him. He collapsed, wheezing for air. By now, the laughter had vanished. The third man hesitated, suddenly unsure. But pride wouldn't let him back down. He swung a clumsy punch. Hannah caught his wrist midair, pivoted, and sent him sprawling into the grass. The last man froze, his bravado gone. He looked at his groaning friends, then back at Hannah, the quiet, ordinary woman who had just dismantled 3 grown men in seconds. You still want to laugh? She asked softly. His face drained of color. Without a word, he grabbed his friends, urging them to leave. The 4 stumbled away, their arrogance shattered. The park was still. Parents stared. Children stared. Even the food truck workers leaned out, speechless. Finally, a little girl whispered, "She saved us." And then the applause began. It started with the children, then spread to the parents, until the whole park was clapping. Not because Hannah had fought, but because she had stood up, when no one else dared. Hannah, cheeks flushed, shook her head. "I didn't do it for applause. I did it because enough was enough." That night, sitting by her window, Hannah thought of the life she had tried to leave behind. Years ago, she had been strong, fearless, respected. But after losing her younger brother in an accident, a brother she had taught to fight, but couldn't save, Hannah had sworn off conflict. She buried her past under stacks of books, choosing silence over confrontation. But in that moment at the park, she realized something important. Hiding her strength hadn't healed her. Using it, protecting others with it, that's what gave it meaning. In the weeks that followed, word spread. The woman who had once blended into the background became the talk of the town. But Hannah didn't let it inflate her pride. Instead, she decided to use it for good. She opened free self-defense classes at the community center. At first, only a handful of women came. Then teenagers. Then even fathers brought their daughters. The classes grew week by week, until the room was full. And Hannah taught them more than fighting. She taught them courage. She taught them awareness. She taught them that their voices mattered, and when they warned someone once, they had the power to make people listen. Months later, a teenage girl from her class stopped her after practice. "Miss Hannah," she said shyly, "I was walking home the other day, and some guys tried to mess with me. I remembered what you said, that I don't have to stay silent. That I can protect myself. I didn't freeze this time. I stood my ground. Thank you." Hannah smiled, her heart swelling. For the first time in years, she felt whole again. Not because she fought, but because she had turned her pain into strength for others. So, what can we take from Hannah's story? That kindness is not weakness. That warnings should not be ignored. And that sometimes, the people you least expect, the quiet ones, the overlooked ones, carry storms inside them. Storms that can protect, defend, and change everything in a matter of minutes. She warned them once. They laughed. But 5 minutes later, they learned, never underestimate a quiet soul.